Most of the previous presentations have focused on the knowledge base of the interculturally competent person. Some of the skills of the interculturally competent person come from the ability to deploy that knowledge or to short circuit one's own cultural inferences along the ladder of cultural inference. While the interculturally competent person demonstrates many skills, we'll focus on the ones that my students and I over the course of the last few years have most focused on. Let's start with attitudes, though. Attitudes often get conflated with skills, and sometimes it's difficult to tease out whether respect or something like it is an attitude or a skill. Here's the last list of my students, and it follows pretty closely with previous groups. Cultural empathy is one attitude of intercultural competence. Then respect and open mindedness are cited. Tolerance of ambiguity, is that a skill or an attitude? Then some other attitudes there. Skillful behaviors are competent actions, or as Lustig and Kester say, right behaviors may be appropriate and effective in one context, but wrong in another. So some skill is involved in doing these right behaviors at the right time. Here are some of the skills that my students have resonated with. I've listed critical thinking about culture as the principal skill that our knowledge base about culture combined with experience leads to. Others listed more recently are the ability to self-reflect, cultural empathy, also listed as an attitude, by the way, communication skills, the ability to take multiple perspectives, among others. Remember that we can actually see and measure these skills because we can see competence through effectiveness of the interculturally competent person. And skills do originate in attitudes, as Deardorff reminds us in her process model. While some skills are well expressed attitudes, such as respect, tolerance of ambiguity is one of the highest order byproducts of meaningful intercultural experience. It should be sought as a skill, I think, as it is key to longer term success in intercultural competence. Other higher attitudes are empathy, humility, prudence, that might lead to intercultural wisdom ultimately. The attitude of tolerance of ambiguity leads us to anthropological research skills like ODIEH, observe, describe, interpret, explain, hypothesize, discussed and presented elsewhere. Also, there's ability to tactfully and effectively gather the information you need to increase your cross-cultural or intercultural understanding. Another that extends from tolerance of ambiguity is to take the other's perspective, which is a form of intercultural empathy. Of the most important skills in my mind are the ability to acknowledge and appreciate other cultural perspectives and interpretations as influential on cultural conflict. Skills in communication that include second language skills are essential to intercultural competence, as it allows us to check our understanding with our amicably originated others. Extending from those skills is the ability to adapt your communication and your behaviors to cultural contexts in showing empathy. The skill of hypothesizing your way through the new and ambiguous to accommodate yourself to a new or strange culture is important. Managing intracultural and intercultural conflict extends from knowledge and experience, and repeatedly engaging in critical thinking about culture. All of this leads to a skillful demonstration of empathy with culturally different others. The more you do this, the more heightened becomes your intercultural awareness, which leads to a more neutral way of communicating and other neutral behaviors, which make the person more interculturally effective as compared to cross-cultural effectiveness. A lifetime of all of this experience applying one's knowledge with successes and failures leads to some semblance of intercultural wisdom ultimately, which might be all of that knowledge, experience, and critical thinking about culture integrated into a wise practice of neutral and effective behaviors. A retired diplomat would probably be likely to approach some level of intercultural wisdom as one example. But I assert that critical thinking about culture really should be the skill we look most to cultivate, as it really represents the skillful culmination of both knowledge and experience over a long time. Critical thinking about culture means we no longer assume our action chains are a valid way of acting, and we short circuit our ladder of cultural inference thinking, which leads to deeper understanding of the effects of culture and maybe even some new revolutionary ideas that help us to wage peace to the benefit of all of us. Take some time to think about something that maybe you thought of that belongs in this list and put it in the comments for this video. While I use these videos as presentation for the courses I teach on intercultural competence, they also are freely available for anybody to watch. So please feel free to like it or subscribe to this channel as you see fit, to comment, and to share with others. Your feedback is valuable to me to make sure that things are clear. And may you find the peace that you are looking for.